time to do the roadmap roundup. As we emphasized in the last letter from the chairman and throughout our messaging this year, our top priority for 2025 is improving playability. A key part of this effort is refining how we manage feature development, with features now being developed in a separate branch and only migrating over when they are ready. So they're still developing features, though I'm not sure what we're about to see below this. In a recent episode of Inside Star Citizen, we shared our commitment to delivering more content patches more frequently. Because these updates are highly narrative-driven, we've adjusted how they appear on the release view to avoid spoilers. As a result, some newly added cards in the release view are marked as redacted and will only be fully reviewed once the content is officially announced or discovered. So they're going to start putting 0.0.1 patches on the roadmap release view. That's a new change. It'll make the roadmap look like it's going faster. As a reminder, the 1.0 column represents features and content planned for Star Citizen 1.0. However, this doesn't mean you'll have to wait until full release to experience them. Rather, it serves as a snapshot of the experience you can expect. As features and content from this column become ready, they will shift left into a point patch column, preparing for release. We kind of already knew that. Okay, notable changes today, February 26th. Deliverables released with 4.0.1 and 4.0 were marked as released. Supply or die added to 4.0.2. A new 4.1 column has been added, highlighting some of the major deliverables that will be released in the 4.1 patch, either in 4.0.1 or 4.1.x patches. So they are still continuing with the plan of major point patches and then point patches to fill those in afterward. It's just that the point patches are more scheduled, and the point patches are likely going to be based on when features are actually ready from the EPTU. All right. First up here, Redacted Mission Giver. A new mission giver enters the verse, bringing fresh opportunities for players to explore. What did we say, folks? Mission Giver's coming back. Narrative, real talk. People gonna talk with words. Less text on a screen. It's freaking.
Can we hear it?
Dang it. Wrong button. That one. Love to hear it. Okay. Next up, Redacted Mission Giver location. Interesting. Being at a location for the mission giver. Maybe it's just a room. Maybe it's an asteroid. Maybe it's a ship. Maybe it's the lair of the Shadow Broker, and you have to go there to get missions. We don't really know what the overall the substance of a mission giver is. It could be Eddie Parr at the New Babbage bar. It could be any number of people that we've never heard of. Redacted Sandbox activity. That's a weird way to put it. A new open-ended activity blending on-foot exploration with aerial support, creating sandbox gameplay opportunities for daring teams. So, okay, so this is their content stuff. This is how they're going to start to phrase things. See, what this might have been in the past would have been, we're dropping in a new location. We can even go to the roadmap. We'll do that later. This could have been a new location along with like, this basically could be the Derelict additions. You remember when they added in Derelicts, 2 years ago maybe? They went and redid them, and we got new locations. We got like loot additions. There were some enemies with them, and there was like trip mines. That's the same type of thing. Yeah, you're right. Redacted does mean unnamed. This is the same type of thing. I'm thinking it'll be a combination of locations and small activities that we may or may not already have in the game, most likely, just thrown together in a new way that reacts to you when you come close to it and allows for some other types of gameplay. Redacted Armor Set, a rugged and stylish new armor set tailored for brave adventurers facing new dangers. So this could be, I mean, we've been hearing about armor being developed in the monthly reports. Not sure, this doesn't sound like it's the utility armor they've been talking about. It does sound kind of exploration focused, but I wouldn't read too much into this description. Toes. On for the exploration would be great, but we don't have FPS scanning, so I'm not sure how much fun it'll be just yet. So this wasn't on the roadmap, I don't think. At least it wasn't in it wasn't on their Spectrum post. So I was like really ready to post the video that it's not upsetting for the game. We went over this on, what was that, Monday? And I have a video that I've clipped out of that I was going to post. And the whole thing of that video was the thumbnail and everything was going to be like, unnamed Volt SMG? Like, you know, this was the clickable thing. It was going to be a look at the Volt weapons. And the thing that got people to click was, hey, this is an SMG that they haven't really talked about. Wow. Except now it's... now here it is. So, gotta pick a new hook. It's a bummer because the video is already uploaded and ready to publish, so I'll probably have to re-edit it. That's part of covering Star Citizen. That's just how they work. Hathor Mining Station. Okay. A large-scale mining laser facility operated by the Hathor Group. Wait, this is really big. Because the Hathor Group is a really important part of Star Citizen lore. Pretty sure they settle systems. Hold on. Star Citizen Hathor Group. Human interplanetary mining concern that employed harsh environmental catastrophic techniques that left otherwise inhabitable planets desolate in the company's wake. It purchased the Nexus. That's right. It purchased the Nexus system. That did not go well. In 2468, strip mining the surface of Lago and ignoring burgeoning criminal activity in the system. Following a run of bad investments and failed claims, the company invested the last of their funds into mining the recently discovered Stanton system in 2853. However, due to some unforeseen difficulties, they were forced to cease operations and the Hathor Group was formally dissolved in 2864. So this last part probably is something that they updated the Galactopedia to recently so that they could fit this into the edition at some point. So here are some of these new space areas coming in, and I think what's significant about this is that it's not just a rest stop space station, it's not an orbital thing. This is a third type of space station facility, likely derelict. No, it does say facility operated by the Hathor Group. Weird that they were dissolved almost 100 years ago at this point in game, and they would still be operating. It's also coming with alignment station, strategically placed Hathor-operated outpost providing key infrastructure and sandbox gameplay opportunities. So maybe they missed the memo that it was dissolved. Maybe it's like the final blockbuster. They're just holding out. So they're starting to... This is going to get a little more crunchy. I love this. I'm going to go back to a game that I'm playing right now that I've been mentioning to you guys. Citizen Sleeper. Oh, long Ethernet? Cool. Citizen Sleeper has this very, very cool lore to it, where the system that you exist in was like a corporate empire that slowly collapsed because the company that was in charge of it started to... Instead of doing the work themselves, they would contract the work out, and then the contractors they pick would cause disasters and ruin the system, and it would slowly fall into squalor, and you kind of are dealing with all the remnants of that. And I'm hoping that they build that kind of stuff in with this sort of lore, especially after all this about the Messer era and how much humanity was like just doing so much during this time. There's a lot of ruins and old stories to find. It'd be great to see that start to be brought in through these kind of locations. They have added some stuff to the 1.0 column, so this is all 4.0.x and 4.1. Just teasers, it's not everything that we'll be seeing there. But generally, no real feature stuff here just yet. Control surfaces, improved atmospheric flight dynamics with functional control surfaces allowing for more precise maneuvering and realistic dynamics. We know what this is.
Of the aerodynamic system that you currently have, and you need your control surfaces to actually turn the ship around. It simulates the airflow over your lift surfaces, and therefore, the slower you become, the less effective those control surfaces will be in order to turn your ship. So we can demonstrate this. So if Brent just sits here and yaws left and right, you will see he cannot go further than that. That is in line with what real airplanes also experience when they're trying to use the rudder to yaw left and right. So what Brent can do here is he can roll and he can pull to actually change his direction.
So control surfaces are basically just making it so that ships in the game actually react to drag and lift. Now we have drag and lift in the game. It has an effect on your ship right now, but your thrusters still overcome all of the drag and lift. They're so powerful. The idea behind control surfaces is that your thrusters will now take into account how much power and heat they're exerting to try and keep your ship moving, but your ship will try and default to using aerodynamics in order to get better movement than some other ships that might not be shaped for that.
Okay, so just for this demo, we added a button. The button is called thruster disconnect, because at the moment in the PU, when you go through a planet, you're using the thrusters to rotate. We're not doing that anymore. So Brent, disconnect the thrusters, please, and put the ship into a purposeful stall. A stall happens when the airflow over a wing ceases, or over a lift surface ceases. And then at some point you will not have any authority anymore, and your ship will not turn and so on, and you will basically fall out of the sky. That is naturally a state that every plane wants to avoid naturally, right? And this is happening right here. Brent is not able to use the control surfaces right now because the ship is in a process of stalling. However, the airflow will pull the nose back into the wind, and once you have enough speed, he can actually, well, he gets authority back over these control surfaces. That means for you as players, what you can actually do, you can do aerobraking, you can do pure gliding if you want to. You can even do like competitions like, I don't know, like drop ships out of orbit and then see how far they glide. This is all possible with a new system. So let's talk about the problem, how do you come to a stop now? To come to a stop,
this is where I think this is what's going to screw people.
You need to purposefully put the ship into a stall. But don't worry, when we don't have the thrusters disconnected, IFCS will help you. So you're gonna bring down the speed more and more until you're reaching stall speed, which is about now. And then the thrusters will kick in and catch you. That means, however, you are now in a state that the thrusters don't like, right? So at the moment we have turned this up, but in the future you will not be able to hold this for long. So if Brent, for example, now from a hover, strafe is left, more left, more left, more left. The wind flow again pulls the ship over, and you go forward again.
So that's a pretty all-encompassing demonstration of kind of what control surfaces would do. But that one point where he stops to hover is going to be a big thing, because a lot of people are used to hovering and just aiming their ship in every direction to shoot. But that's going to start to do damage to your thrusters over time. All right. Next up, Quantum Boost. Introducing Quantum Boost, a short burst travel mode designed for quick repositioning and high-speed engagements between deep, distant points. Quantum Boost is free quantum travel. At slower speeds, this is what's going to probably unlock a lot of exploration potential for the game. It's something I have really hoped would be in last year. And I'm even doubtful it comes in this year, to be honest. But I think it's important. And I'm hoping that they are working on it pretty heavily to get it figured out. Hathor is regular mining, resource mining. Next up, item misfire and wear, adding depth to equipment functionality with item misfires and gradual wear, requiring regular maintenance to ensure peak performance. This is, I believe, one of the features that was supposed to come in last year, but clearly has been once again delayed. And we don't have any reason for why. I mean, this was wear for the weapons was one of the things that they said at 2023 CitizenCon was coming in the next year. And they can do all they want about resetting expectations and telling people that they're going to shift on making the game more functional and better to play. but they still need to help us understand where's wear and tear? Why? What happened to it? What did it do? Who's hiding it from us? Charge and drain. Expanding the functionality, the utility, of the multi-tool with the ability to drain and transfer power between objects, unlocking new puzzle solving and support roles. Life support. Integrating life support systems into ships, making oxygen management and environmental controls critical for survival. Engineering gameplay. Introducing dedicated engineering roles aboard ships, allowing players to actively manage power distribution, repairs, and system efficiency in real time. Solar flare. Unleashing powerful solar bursts within the pyro system, creating dynamic environmental hazards that players must navigate and prepare for. Am I just like reading the 4.0 roadmap? I'm just reading the things that we were supposed to get last year. Now, I'd like to be clear. That doesn't really make me mad. That's obviously going to be in the roadmap again. I think the strange part about it, more so, the weird part, is that it's being added to the 1.0 column, which doesn't give us really anything to go off of. Other than that, it's still part of the plan. In terms of timing, this doesn't tell us anything. This first part, yeah, because this is like the immediate stuff. But this is basically, this could come in 6 months or it could come in 5 years. And I'd think when looking at things like life support and engineering and charge and drain, which were already supposed to be in the game and already functional, to be honest, these charge and drain and engineering gameplay have function in the game. So has a solar flare. All right. Vehicle radar and scanning reworking vehicle radar and scanning for all vehicles, radar FPS radar and scanning, implementing first-person radar and scanning gameplay, improving situational awareness and bringing new tactical gameplay. Hangar upgrades, expanding personal hangar customization with new upgrades, layouts, and functional improvements. Weapon overheat, introducing heat buildup and overheat mechanics for energy weapons, requiring careful trigger discipline and heat management during sustained firefights. I don't even see how this wouldn't be in the game, and this would. It kind of has to come with those weapons. So these aren't features that aren't going to be coming for a while. I think more than anything, this just doesn't really give us a timeline to judge off of. Radiation, implementing dangerous radiation zones in specific locations, forcing players to adapt with specialized gear, and strategic navigation. New missions, location repair. Implementing new missions that introduce repair gameplay into the persistent universe, first appearing in Pyro's outposts. We've temporarily moved this card to the 1.0 column, but like all features and content there, it will be assigned to a point patch once it's ready. I guess now we know what happened to the missions that were supposed to be in 4.0 and were in 4.0 until they weren't in 4.0. Alrighty. Progress tracker. You can now find a preview of many of the things that we are currently actively working on in the progress tracker, with more additions to come at a later time. We've made several additions to the progress tracker, which you can review below. Just a reminder, when progress on a deliverable is marked as complete, it doesn't necessarily mean it's ready for release. It may still require downstream support, transition to another team for further work, or other additional steps before completion. This is why the progress tracker. The progress tracker is like, this is the same thing as the progress tracker at this point. That Star Citizen 1.0 panel is a simplified progress tracker, because the only thing it tells us as of now is what is planned. It doesn't tell us anything about the time. It doesn't tell us anything about what days are actually being worked. They can have work days on the schedule, but those work days can be split up by vacations, by time at the office closed, by somebody being sick. It doesn't actually tell you the tasks being done, which, you know, for a company this size to report that publicly would be intense. But the idea of the progress tracker is basically just, here's what the plan is. That's what I would encourage people to look at it for. And that's what they're saying here too. Just because it says that something is complete doesn't mean it is. Like literally, it doesn't matter if it's complete or not. It's not actually complete, even if it says it is. It may still require downstream support, another team, or additional steps. The work that they've added there includes the mission giver, which we saw with the 4.0.x stuff, or the 4.1.x stuff. And then core gameplay pillar added supplier die event, the sandbox activity we read about, base building, charge and drain, crafting, engineering, FPS scanning and radar, life support, radiation, and then also the location for that mission giver. So that is our roadmap roundup for February 26th. This is a interesting roundup. Also painful. I mean, painful in the sense that it's just more of the reality of what they're doing, which is focusing the majority of their energies on trying to fix the problems that people have with the game. And in order to do that, they need to put absolutely nothing behind a timetable. Because in order to fix something that's broken, you have to be able to pivot and be ready for it to be more broken before it gets fixed. If they fix one thing, it could break another thing. And if their goal this year is to make sure that the people who are unhappy with the way the game plays have a happy experience, that means that they cannot guarantee in any of these making it this year. Now, it doesn't mean that they won't. Something will, but they can't put a date on anything if they're not sure about it. I hope they don't, because they've continued to do so in the past, and that's why some of these are frustrating to be on this list, to hear about some of this stuff being included in the preview channel last year, or in 3.23 last year, or in any updates last year and not making it. Hell, hacking was supposed to be in the preview channel and it's not even on this list. It's not even in the 1.0 panel. So this is not in any way a reason to define the rest of the year. The first part is interesting, and this has got some good stuff in here. I think the Hathor additions should be some solid sandbox gameplay, and hopefully they add in the reputation with the Hathor group as well, so we can benefit from that. Mission giver is also pretty good. I would hope that if they're talking about adding a mission giver, we also see improvements in the other ones, and that might very well be some of the content focused and bug focused updates that they're doing in Q2 might be to get the mission givers all working in game now. So we'll see where that goes too. But yeah, it's a roadmap roundup. Is it 4.0 or is it 1.0? I don't know anymore. Hope you enjoyed this one though.